Throwback Wheezy, baby. Throwback Wheezy. Yeah, man. Get into it. Get into this bag. Get into the baguette. Get into the Bugatti. Get into the Maserati. Get into the... About to find something to watch right now. I'm gonna cop my baby something with no ceilings. Ah! No ceilings. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. Hold on. What the hell? Hold on. Here you go. Alright.
Second counts. Thieves can be incredibly sophisticated and sometimes pull off million-dollar robberies within the blink of an eye. Taking a whistle-stop tour of famous heists around the globe, here are some of the fastest thefts in history. Dubai. Our first stop is in Dubai, in a brazen heist that took them only 170 seconds.
Dang.
What you'll find with most robberies on the list is that the fastest high-profile thefts involve jewelry. To rob a bank, there are various barriers and security measures put in place to stop someone from accessing their cash. With jewelry stores, you simply need to go into the store, smash the glass, take the expensive jewels inside, and run for the hills. In 2007, shoppers at Wafi Mall in Dubai witnessed something from a Hollywood movie, and the chain of events could only be fully understood when looking back on the CCTV cameras. One car drives through the glass windows of the mall, while another vehicle follows. The cars move inside this mall towards a jewelry store. One car stops, and a man with a gun comes out and checks the surroundings. The other car then barges into the door of a Graf jewelry store. Carrying a gun and a hammer, the man smashes all of the glass casings and helps himself to some highly expensive jewelry. He takes $3.4 million worth of jewels and then speeds off. The gang had come and gone within the space of 170 seconds. It was revealed later that the cars they used were stolen too. The gun he was carrying turned out to be fake and was used as a way to scare people off and make sure nobody tried to make themselves a hero. The thieves drove down Za'abil Road, where they burned down the two brand new Audi cars they had just stolen in order to destroy any evidence. This heist, along with others on this list, is believed to be perpetrated by a gang of jewelry thieves known as the Pink Panthers, named after the Pink Panther comedy and crime movie series. While they are incredibly effective jewelry thieves, they are much more bloody and ruthless than those portrayed in the movies. Let's just say there's nothing to be laughed at when these guys are at work. When they orchestrated their heist in Dubai, the thieves tried to flee the country. Luckily, Dubai police captured two suspects before they could make their way across the border. As well as the two stolen Audis, the group had rented a more modest Nissan Sunny for their getaway. And the Emirati police found the jewelry in this car. It was until 2014 that a third suspect was found. He was arrested by the Spanish authorities and then handed over to the UAE in 2015. And to rub further salt in their wounds, their heist car is now on display at the Dubai Police Museum to reflect the police's ingenious work in cracking the case. But despite the speedy cars, raids, and getaways, this is the slowest theft on our list. Here's where things get a bit faster. London. Our next heist takes us to merry old England and, funnily enough, to another Graf Diamond store on New Bond Street. At 4:40 p.m., two men dressed in suits walked in, posing as customers. While they did not wear any masks, this is not actually what they look like. Before the robbery, they told makeup artists that they were making a music video and needed their appearance completely altered. The makeup artists recalled that one told the other, "My own mother wouldn't recognize me now," to which the other replied, "That's got to be a good thing, hasn't it?" Once inside, they pulled out handguns and ordered the staff to get down on the floor. Then they forced the shop assistant, Petra Einar, to open the display cabinets. It took them 2 minutes to collect $65 million worth of jewelry.
These are some of the 43 jewels taken. The haul included diamond earrings, necklaces and rings.
Who's trying to rob a jewelry store? Because you're set for life. In a few seconds, you could be set for life. Easy
with a total
bet.
value of around £40 million.
However, the thieves cannot simply sell these pieces as they are.
Experts think they're so recognizable that they would have to be broken up, which would dramatically reduce their value.
The gunmen were well aware that police could be waiting for them even at this early stage, so they brought out Petra Einar as a hostage while they waited for their getaway driver to arrive. Interestingly, they also fired a gunshot to clear the street. In Britain, police do not all carry guns, and only a particular section of them are allowed to use firearms. If an ordinary police police officer was walking around, they would simply not be allowed to respond, and instead, he or she would have to wait for the specialist gun force to arrive. This sequence of events points towards an incredibly capable set of criminals.
Crazy.
However, their methods of transport, getting to and from the scene of the crime, suggests otherwise. According to Good Morning America, the heist was so brazen, police say the men arrived at the store in a London taxi and made an incredible getaway, changing cars 3 times over a distance measuring less than half a mile. They crashed once, handed a bag of jewels to an accomplice on a motorcycle, and gave police the slip. Despite being right in the center of London, they traveled from getaway car to getaway car, and this helped keep the police off their scent. However, the fact that they were constantly moving from one vehicle to the other led to one of them losing their phone in one of the cars. This was a crucial mistake and led to them being caught by the other bill.
2 men appeared in court today, charged with carrying out Britain's biggest ever jewellery robbery. They're accused of conspiring to rob Graff Jewellers on New Bond Street. A third man has been charged in connection with the incident.
However, none of the jewellery has been recovered from this heist, and it's unlikely that the criminals will ever divulge this information. Tacoma. Our next heist takes us to Tacoma, Washington, in what was one of the fastest bank robberies of all time. At one point, the criminal I'm about to discuss was an American hero. Luke Elliott Summer served time in the US Army, but in a strange twist of fate, he ended up using his military training to hold up a bank. Summer grew up in British Columbia, Canada, but holds dual citizenship with Canada and the US. He joined the US Army when he was just 17 in 2003, the very year that America led its invasion of Iraq. A year later, Summer spent time in Baghdad, and in 2005, he spent time in Afghanistan. When returning to America, he recruited people to join his training camp. On August 7th, 2006, 4 men charged into a Tacoma branch of Bank of America carrying weapons. It was organized to every last detail. 2 of the men were holding handguns and were responsible for getting hold of the money. The other 2 carried AK-47s and were guarding the bank from outside. They all wore body armor too and carried plenty of ammunition with them. Summer was one of the men with a handgun leading the charge. A prosecutor of the case said if the police arrived, Luke Summer planned to go to war. The robbers were armed for combat. Summer continued shouting orders at the tellers to hand over the money, while one of the men guarding the entrance shouted out how much time had elapsed. Summer reordered the tellers to give them $20, $50, and $100 bills, and told them not to give any money with serial numbers or die packs that would be traceable. His assistant collected the money, and when it hit the 2-minute mark, the team's timekeeper shouted, "Let's go," and they fled the scene. They exited the bank with $54,011, taking them 2 minutes and 21 seconds. The gang used military precision in this robbery, but it was one fatal flaw that led them to being caught in 3 days' time. When they took off in their getaway vehicle, a bystander took down their license plate number and handed it over to the police. The bandits forgot to get rid of this license plate, and this was traced back to the car of one of the gunmen. While the thieves I've spoken about earlier remained extremely tight-lipped when caught by the police, this guy was a lot more cooperative. He spilled the beans on everything that happened, leaving Summer and the rest of the team in hot water too. The bystander who foiled this plan may have prevented more than just one robbery. According to CTV News, Summer, then 20 years old, planned to use the proceeds of the robbery to start a criminal gang in BC that would rival the Hells Angels. Summer was sentenced to prison, but it is still not the end of this story. In 2008, he tried to hire a hitman to kill the attorney who got him convicted, and specifically requested to make it look like murder, not an accident. Thankfully, the hitman he hired was an FBI informant, which slapped another 20 years onto his sentence for good measure. Hong Kong. Our next robbery takes us across to the Far East in Hong Kong, where $3 million worth of jewelry was taken in 90 seconds. In the popular Tsim Sha Tsui shopping district, a high-end store named VIP Watch and Jewelry was the unfortunate target of ruthless thieves. In July 2018, 3 masked men confidently charged inside at 10:45 a.m.
Dang. These heists is crazy, dog. Like, what?
The glass was smashed and many luxury watches were taken and placed into a bag. They took 34 Swiss-made luxury watches and 39 American-made bracelets, with a total estimated value of 23.5 million Hong Kong dollars, which is equivalent to $3 million US. No guns were seen at the scene of the crime. The culprits were simply armed with a knife and a retractable baton. Sadly, a male employee was injured badly by the baton and had to be taken to hospital after the robbery. He was speaking on his mobile phone when the robbers came in and may have said something to alert the other person on the phone that he was in danger. A source told the South China Morning Post it appeared the employee was beaten because the gang thought he tried to make a phone call. Customers and other staff were threatened with a knife, but whether the police were tipped off or not, this might not have made much of a difference.
Deuces.